There's a part of healing that nobody really prepares you for. And it's not letting go of them. It's letting go of the version of you that existed with them. Because this is where it gets quiet and a little uncomfortable. You've made the decision. You've created distance. You know it wasn't right. And yet something still feels heavy. Not like you want to go back, but like something is missing. And that feeling isn't confusion. It's grief. But not just grief for the person. Grief for who you were in that dynamic. How you showed up, what you believed about yourself, the role you played. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual life coach, numerologist, and energy alchemist. And this month we're working with Energy 8, the Pranic body, the part of you responsible for your life force, your emotional energy, your vitality, and how energy moves through your system. So when something ends, your system doesn't just release the person. It has to release the identity attached to that experience. And if you don't understand this part, you'll think something's wrong. You'll think, why did I still feel this? Why isn't this fully over? When in reality, you're in the middle of something deeper. But before we go deeper, if this is already landing for you, I would love for you to hit subscribe and tap that notification bell. Because this is where you stop judging your process and start understanding what's actually happening in your system. Because this is where I want you to go, oh, this isn't just sadness. This is something bigger. So let's name this properly. Because when people think about grief, they think about losing someone. But this kind of grief is different. This is grief for a version of yourself that no longer fits your life. It's the part of you that stayed longer than they should have, overgave to keep connection, made things work at your own expense, believed certain things about yourself. That version of you didn't just exist in your mind. It existed in your body, your patterns, your energy. And from an Energy 8 perspective, your pranic body doesn't just hold emotion. It holds patterns of how you existed in the world. So when something ends, your system isn't just releasing the situation. It's recalibrating how you showed up, how you relate, how you respond. And this is why it can feel like something is missing, even when you don't want to go back, because you're not just losing the dynamic. You're losing the version of you that knew how to function in it. And that creates a space where you're no longer who you were, but you haven't fully stabilized into who you're becoming yet. And that space feels uncomfortable. And I'm going to say this gently. You don't miss being that version of you, but you recognize her, and your system is adjusting to not being her anymore. This is why you might notice feeling a bit lost, questioning yourself, not reacting the way you used to, not knowing what your next move is. Not because you're going backwards, you're not, but because your identity is shifting. From a pranic body perspective, this is energy being reorganized. Old patterns are dissolving, new ones haven't fully stabilized yet. So your system is in between. And this is the part nobody talks about. That in-between space can feel like uncertainty, but it's not misalignment. It's transition. And this is where it gets even more important. Because if you don't understand this space, you'll try to fill it. So when you're in that in-between space, where you're no longer who you were, but you don't fully feel like who you're becoming yet, there's a natural urge that shows up to fill the gap. And it doesn't always look obvious. It can look like thinking about going back, romanticizing the past, wanting to reach out just to check, looking for something new to focus on, or trying to distract yourself from the discomfort. But what you're really doing is trying to avoid sitting in the space where your identity is shifting. And I'm going to say this honestly, that space isn't the problem. Your discomfort with it is. Now, from an Energy 8 perspective, your pranic body is used to operating from known patterns. It knows how to generate energy when things are familiar, defined, structured in a certain way. So when those patterns dissolve, your system looks for something to stabilize around. And this is why going back can feel so tempting. Not because it's right, but because it's known. It gives your system a role, a response, a way to function. And sometimes you don't go back. You just replace it. You look for something new to fill the same space, but the pattern underneath that hasn't changed because the old version of you knew exactly how to operate in that dynamic. She knew how to respond, how to adapt, how to maintain connection. So without that, it can feel like you don't fully know yourself. But what you're actually avoiding is this: learning how to exist without that pattern. And this is the shift you need to hold on to. The gap is not something to fill. It's something to move through, because from a pranic body perspective, that space is where your energy is reorganizing. Old patterns are losing their hold. New patterns are forming. And that takes time. So instead of trying to escape that space, you need to learn how to stay in it, because that's where the real shift happens. So now you understand what this space is. You can see why it feels uncomfortable. You can recognize the urge to fill it, fix it, or escape it. But here's the truth. Understanding it doesn't mean you know how to stay in it. And this is the work. Not rushing forward, not going back, but learning how to hold yourself in the middle. Because from an Energy 8 perspective, this is where your system learns how to exist without old patterns, how to regulate without familiar dynamics, how to generate energy from within. This is where real power is built. So let's bring this into your body. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. Let your shoulders drop. Place one hand on your chest and one on your lower belly. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold for 4, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, instead of focusing on a person or situation, I want you to tune into the feeling of this space. That sense of not quite knowing, not fully settled, in between what was and what's next. Just notice it, because this is where you usually do something. You try to fix it. You try to distract yourself. You try to move out of it. But this time, you're not. You're not moving. Stay with your breath. And instead of resisting this feeling, let yourself be in it. Not forcing clarity, not forcing direction, just being present. And as you breathe, say internally, I don't need to rush this. It's safe to be. I can exist without having everything figured out. Let your body hear that. Again, stay with the breath. Inhale, hold, and exhale longer than you inhale. And notice, even if it's subtle, the discomfort softens slightly. That's capacity. This is the part most people skip, because it's easier to go back to what's familiar or rush into something new than it is to sit here. But this is where your identity actually shifts. Not in action, but in your ability to stay present without defaulting. The version of you who grows through this isn't someone who always knows what's next. There's someone who can sit in uncertainty, can hold themselves without reaching outwards, can let things unfold without forcing them. And when you can start doing that, you stop needing to go back, because you're no longer trying to escape yourself. So now that you've felt it, not just the grief, but the space that comes with letting go of who you used to be, this is where it becomes real, because that space is going to show up again. There will be moments where you feel unsure. You don't recognize yourself fully. You question what you're doing, and it might feel like you're losing something, but you're not. You're transitioning. So this week, I don't want you to rush into clarity. I don't want you to force direction. I want you to notice when you feel the urge to go back, when you feel the urge to feel the space, when you feel uncomfortable not knowing. And instead of reacting, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, am I trying to escape this feeling or move through it? That question will tell you everything, because this isn't a phase you skip. This is the phase you move through, and the more you resist it, the longer it lasts. From an Energy 8 perspective, this is your system reorganizing. Old energy patterns are dissolving. New ones are forming. And that process requires space. And when you allow that space, something powerful happens. You stop reacting from old patterns. You stop needing external validation. You stop trying to force things to feel certain. And you start to feel. more grounded, more stable, more connected to yourself. Not because everything is clear, but because you're not resisting the process. The version of you who moves through this isn't someone who avoids discomfort. They're someone who trusts the process, stays present in uncertainty, allows themselves to evolve without rushing. And if you keep doing this, you won't feel lost in this space. You'll feel anchored in it because you'll know you're not stuck. You're becoming. As we come to the end of today's video, I want to leave you with this. Awareness is where transformation begins. Every insight you've gained today has given you another piece of the puzzle. But real change happens when you understand how these teachings apply to your unique energy. If you've enjoyed today's video and you'd like to continue exploring spirituality, numerology, the 10 energy bodies, and practical tools to help you heal, grow, and create lasting change, I'd love you to hit subscribe and click that notification bell. That way you'll never miss a future video as we continue this journey together. One of the most powerful ways to understand yourself is through your numerology. Your birth date isn't just a collection of numbers. It's a map of your strengths, your challenges, your soul lessons, and the gifts you were here to share with the world. If you're ready to take your first step, download my free Numerology Quick Guide using the link in the description box below. It's a simple way to begin uncovering the incredible wisdom hidden within your numbers. And if you're ready to stop wondering why certain patterns keep repeating in your life, my personalized numerology report will give you a detailed understanding of your unique blueprint, helping you move forward with greater clarity, confidence, and purpose. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. What was the biggest lesson you took away from today's video? And how are you going to apply it in your life this week? Share it in the comments below. Remember, knowledge has the power to inspire, but action has the power to transform. Thank you so much for being here. Keep trusting your intuition. Keep honoring your energy. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.